A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos. Pasha Shoftim. The Eiliga Rosh Chodesh Elul. Entering into this incredible month. A month where we need a lot of direction. Make sure that we use this month correctly in preparation for the Yom Adin. And I think that the Parsha is so incredibly, every single step of the way of this Parsha is really all about the things we need to do to get in place for that Yom Adin. The things we need to do in order to be able to perhaps fix the previous year and set ourselves up for the next one. The Parsha is a little unusual because much of the Torah talks about what a person has to do. You have to do this mitzvah, you have to carry this out, you have to do this function. Shoftim spends an enormous amount of time on telling us who has authority. It talks about judges, it talks about officers, it talks about the Sanhedrin, it talks about the king, about Kohanim, about Leviim, about prophets, about witnesses, about the elders, about military officers. It's all about authorities. And it's all read at the very beginning of Elul. Because maybe that's not coincidental. Because maybe this Parsha was set up to be the beginning of Rosh Chodesh Elul. Because before we're asked on Rosh Hashanah to be Mamlech Hashem and to set him up as our king, that you should rule over the entire world, we first have to ask ourselves a much more uncomfortable question. Who has been governing me until now? If God on Rosh Hashanah, I ask that you be Mamlech, that you govern me, that you be my king. What was my king until this point? Not theoretically, who should govern me, but lemaisa, actually, who has been governing me? Who's been making the decisions in my life? Is it my values? Is it my habits? Is it my fears? Is it my ego? Is it what people are going to think about me? Is it my phone? Is it my taivas, my desire for comfort? My Torah? Is it God? Shoftim is an entire parsha about internal government. Who's in charge? And Elul is when we hold those elections. Who's going to sit on the bench inside of me? Who makes my decisions? What voices do I listen to? What am I afraid of? And when I've done something wrong, can I still find my way home? And that's where you have to approach the parasha. And that's exactly the way the parasha begins. Shoftim v'shoitrim titen l'cha b'chol sharecha. That we have to put judges and officers. You have to place for yourself b'chol sharecha in all of your gates. Why does the Torah talk in the singular? It's talking to the Jewish people. Shoftim v'shoitrim titen titnu lachem. But it says titen l'cha, you have to place them. Courts are appointed for cities. So why is this written in the singular? And why b'chol sharecha at all of your gates? Why are we emphasizing the gates? So usually the way we explain this is that it's talking collectively to the Jewish people, that collectively the Jewish people have to establish courts. But really, maybe there's another way to look at this. Because every single person has gates. The eyes are gates, the ears are gates, the mouth is a gate. Even our attention is a gate. And the Torah doesn't say don't sin. The Torah says something much more sophisticated. Shoftim v'shoitrim titein lecha b'chol sharecha. Put a judge at the gate. Put an officer at the gate. But what's the difference between the two? A shayfet decides what's right and wrong. But a shaiter, an officer, makes sure that the decision is carried out. And those are two completely different spiritual tasks and problems. Sometimes I generally don't know, I don't know what's right. I'm not sure, is this the right thing to do? Is that the right thing to do? But very often, if we're honest with ourselves, we know exactly what's right. But we don't always have the strength to be able to carry it out. See, I don't need another shear telling me that I shouldn't speak Lashon Hara. I need a shaiter. I need some kind of system that's going to protect me from speaking Lashon Hara. I don't need somebody to explain that I should make time to learn. I need a shoter. I need an officer that's going to help me implement that. I don't need somebody to explain to me that another philosophical discussion about whether I should apologize to somebody or not. I need a shaiter. I need to figure out a way to carry it out. The judge has already made the verdict. The problem is enforcement. You see, most of the times we conduct our spiritual accounting only after the event. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did I lose my temper? Why did I waste those hours? Shoftim says, putting the court in the wrong place. The judge belongs at the entrance. Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha b'sha'arecha, not at the exit. The shaiter has to protect you before you act, not after. That's how the parsha begins. And that's the avodah of Elul. Who is making my decisions and how are they being implemented? And that's why the pasuk says Titein lecha, because nobody can install the judge for you. Nobody, a rav can teach you. Says a spouse can remind you, a friend can inspire you, but ultimately shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha. You got to figure out who's in charge, and you have to make those decisions, and then you got to figure out a way to be your own shoter, to be your own officer, your own protector. Look at the next words. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. Justice, justice, thou shalt pursue. What a famous pasuk. But why does it have to say tzedek twice? And why does it say tirdof? You have to run after it. You have to be an Ohev Shalom v'Rodev Shalom. You have to run after peace. We tend to run after honor. You have to run after your enemies. But why run after tzedek? Why run after justice? And l'man tichyav yorash ha'aretz, so that you will live and you will inherit the land, says the Torah. Why is it so fundamental? So I'll tell you an incredible thing. That we are very talented at discovering the truth that we wanted to discover in the first place. Whatever we think is the truth, we have an incredible way of being able to justify that. Nobody says, I know I'm wrong, but I'm going to pretend that I'm right. When we know we're wrong, we figure out reasons why we're right. We have a busload of reasons why we're right and why we're justified in doing what we're doing. To be honest with ourselves and to admit a shortcoming, that takes a yeoman's effort. So the Torah doesn't say no justice. It says tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, run after it, chase after it. Because our ego, our habits, our self-interests are chasing it away. And that's what the Torah is telling me it has to be done at the beginning of Elul. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, be honest. When you're trying to figure out who's in control and what's really controlling all of the decisions that you're making and how you're going to protect yourself from them, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. But why the two tzedeks? Because there's a justice I demand from everybody else and there's a justice that I demand from myself. The two standards are astonishingly different. You see, when somebody else comes late to a meeting, they're irresponsible. When I come late to a meeting, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what just happened to me. When somebody else loses their temper, we look at them, we say they're flawed. When I lose my temper, to say, oh my gosh, you should only know the things that I had to deal with. When somebody else doesn't volunteer, we look at them and we say they're so selfish, so self-absorbed and self-centered. When I don't volunteer, I'm just so busy. All begins when tzedek, Tirdof, when those two tzedeks join and become one. Cheshbon nefesh doesn't mean just saying, what did I do wrong? Cheshbon nefesh means, can I judge myself with the same clarity that I judge for everybody else? Look at the Pasha and look at every single mitzvah in the Pasha is instructing us how to carry out self-evaluation. Shoftim v'shoitrim titein lecha b'chol sharecha. First, figure out who's your judge. Then figure out how you're going to implement those judgments. And then make sure that the standards that you're setting for you are the same standards that you're setting for the world, perhaps even higher. That's how we begin this month. That's what the Torah is calling out to us. The Shofar says to us, Ur Yesheni Mishinaschem, wake up from your sleep. Parsha says, wake up, figure out who's in charge, and get to work. Have a beautiful, awesome, amazing Shabbos and an uplifting month of Elul, so that the year starts with an incredible power. And all the brachas that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has in store for us are showered on us from that very beginning, from day one. Have a beautiful Shabbos.